What's going on, guys? Today my buddy brought over a old school Onan RV generator, and we're going to try to get it running. He said he's going to use this to run his off-grid deer camp cabin, so it needs to operate properly. Whatever, it's been setting up for a long time, and they pulled it out of a 1970s model RV. I'm pretty sure I've seen it back in the day when I was younger when they had it running, and whatever, it's set in the shop for a long time. So we're going to look at it. I'm going to show you how they work, how good they are, and just do a little bit of talking about it. Clean the carburetor, whatever. I think we got to put a fuel tank, hook it back up, battery. It's going to need some wiring done because a lot of the wires are unhooked, and just get her operational. Okay, so right here's the unit. So if you've had an RV, you've probably seen one of these. This is the side you would see in the side door on your RV. Whatever, these are great models. Onan actually made these for home standby generators too back in the day, that was in a metal box that said Onan on it. And this one, they pulled it out of an RV. And basically these things was super fuel efficient when they come out. So they do run a giant 2-cylinder engine, and what looks like a giant generator unit compared, you know, to today's standards. Saying this thing is only a 4 kilowatt generator, so that'd be 4,000 watts, I'm pretty sure. If I got it wrong, just drop a comment. It's a 1-barrel, and they made these things just as simple as it can be. It looks complicated right here looking at it, but basically under here you just got a set of points, a simple coil over there with 2 wires coming out of it, and actually both spark plugs spark at the same time, and both cylinders fire at the same time. And when the pistons go out, it's like this, and when they fire, they both get knocked back in. So it's basically like a big 1-cylinder engine, but it's working off of 2 cylinders. And this only runs at 1800 RPM, so basically a little bit over idle. And the fuel range on this thing is amazing. They showed me this back in the day when I was a kid at the river camping, and they could put a 5-gallon can in here and run this thing for like 3 days or 4 days on 5 gallons just running straight. And it was so quiet, it was like a Honda, you know. And it just, the power, I'm pretty sure they underrate these, way underrated. So like, you have way more in case you need it, and there ain't none of that like your new generators, you know, they overrate them a lot of times on the rating. But this thing, I know it's got a lot of power. So I'm gonna go ahead and check the oil down here. Right here's the oil. This thing actually holds like about, I think it's a gallon of oil on the bottom, and it's a little low, but it is leaning that way. But there's a huge oil tank on the bottom, kind of like the oil pan on a car, and it is oil pump lubricated. But yeah, it needs a little oil in it, so I have to do that, but there's some in there. So yeah, but whatever, it holds a large amount of oil because it's made to run for a long period of time, so that way you wouldn't have to change the oil as much as like you do your small portable construction style generator. It holds about half a quart. You know, this one they fitted it with a gallon of oil to extend longevity. Over here it actually tells you the times to clean the air filter, the oil, what type of oil, and all that. Like it says, change the oil every 100 hours. So basically that's pretty good. I think in them small generators they say about every 50 hours. That does say 50 to 100 hours. In the front here there's a giant fan. In the RV, it blows air out the bottom of the RV, and it sucks air through the engine. Normal side shaft engines or go-kart engines or whatever, they pull air in the front through the crank grip cover and blow out right here. And this one's the opposite. See, right here's where the heat blows out of your generator unit. It actually gets sucked in through the engine and blowed out the bottom. That way there ain't no heat coming out in your RV. And so whatever, let's get on with seeing if it's going to run. So I see they got something going on with the solenoid, and there's a ton of wires going to this thing. But there's no starter motor on this unit. The generator is the starter. So like when you go to push the start button right here, it actually this generator, it puts 12 volts in it and cranks the motor over. That way you didn't have no starter bendix or gears or nothing to wear out and fail. Okay, so I got my battery set in here off the lawnmower. So let's just see if this thing will spin over. So basically the ground's just bolted to the bottom down there, the ground strap, so we'll hook that up. And I think they said they was having a problem with the solenoid is the main reason that they quit using this thing. So I just hope all these wires are on here the right way, because like this wire on this side goes to the starter and to the electric choke, and then you got freaking that one's going in there. I guess pretty straightforward because they only fit in certain places. So all these are hot for different things. So whatever, I'm gonna hook this up to my battery here, and maybe it'll give us a spark, and we'll see if the motor at least spins over. Okay, it is spinning. It don't sound the best. Try that again. Oh, yep. If I hook it on this side, let me see if the start button is going to work. Oh, shit. Oh, it shocked me. Oh, the coil's working, because it grounded back through my fingers. Ugh. Okay, so the fuel pump's working. So one of those is going to the coil, because it got me when I let off that button. So, let me see if I ain't going to touch the bolts this time. Let me see if the solenoid works. Okay, the solenoid is not doing nothing, but I don't see a ground mounted to the thing, so because the back side of it's got to be grounded for it to operate. So well, let me get some wires straightened out and get a little gas in a bottle, pull that breather off of here, and see if we can dump a little gas, see if we're getting a spark. Alright guys, I went ahead and mounted the solenoid back to the generator, this new solenoid they had attached. Took the old one off, and I had to go find some nuts to put on here to bolt all the wires up how they go. So I got shocked while ago messing with it. So that's grounded, so now I'm going to hook the battery cable up down here, and hopefully, well, now I see why something was going on there. Because everything comes on when I put the battery cable on. Well, fuel pump's running, but we ain't dang getting no power to our starter, and I don't know what that's about. Because fuel pump shouldn't come on until I turn the power on. That's what I think, but I don't know. Let me look some more into it. Check these fuses right here, I guess. Well, that one's good. It's been a little hot. Okay, I still ain't got the solenoid to work right, so I'm just gonna see if we can cross it and get it to crank. But whatever, I went ahead and put my gas jug in here to see if the fuel pump's gonna work. I got this jumper wire to jump this solenoid. Okay, the fuel pump's working. I got that all working now. So we're getting fuel to the carburetor. I noticed when I let it run for just a second, it started coming around the top. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the top out of the carburetor here, and it looks real simple. I think it's just 3 flat-headed screws, and remove that fuel line. So I'll get these pulled out real quick. We'll jump to a time lapse. Alright, I got the screws out and fuel line off, so let's pick this up out here and see what it looks like. With this wire wrapped around over there. Right here's our float and our gasket. The carburetor don't look too dirty down in there. So, what that is in the middle? It's like the jet comes out and turns down. So whatever, we got a pin right here, we'll pull that out. Grab some pliers here. Okay, got the pin out. And right here's the float, plastic foam stuff, and gasket. And right here is our needle valve. So I'm gonna blow through this and hopefully clear any dirt out of there. So, I don't see nothing in there. Usually there's something rubber in there, but it's just metal on this one. So we'll put that back in there and put the gasket back on and stick her back together. So everything looks good. That's surprising for how long this thing has been sitting. It's probably been sitting for like freaking 8 years or so, is what I'd think. So they did a good job on these machines back in the day. Now the new ones I can't say as much for, because I've worked on a couple new Onan generators and they had like starter motors and a lot more electronics that can screw up when it sits. And especially if rats get in there. Rats get in those new ones, they have twice as many wires as this one's got. But like I said, this one doesn't have that ultra smooth electricity that comes out either. It puts out pretty good power though for what it is. Like I said, if y'all watched my last video where I talk about some junkyard generators or old generators worth buying, I do a whole video on sound waves and different types of generators. So if y'all want to check that one out. And but yeah, this one is one of those speed style generators, but it has a lot bigger engine and counterweights and stuff to keep from surging and all that, to keep a smooth generator and the power coming out. So it's more like a power plant generator than it is a construction style unit. It was made, you know, to run a house or an RV, so they took in consideration rough power and tried their best to keep that from coming out of here. So I'll get this button back up and we'll see if we get a fuel leak this time. See if it fills up and shuts off. I'd say this thing should be a very light pressure fuel pump on here. Not nothing crazy. Okay, so we got that. That's working good. And when I come over here to my starter, it just sparks. So I don't know what the deal is with that, if I'm just getting a bad connection or there's a lot of gas fumes in here. So I'm gonna pull the cover off back here on the generator unit. Okay, so back here y'all see this little metal cover on this generator unit. This is how you get to the brushes in one of these. Under the bottom down here there's a latch. You unlatch it and this will actually come off and expose all the starter brushes and the generator brushes. And this thing should have a bunch of copper rings in here. And I was thinking the last one I did was more exposed than this, but you can see all the windings and all the different brushes that go around. I figure the collars are dirty is why it ain't spinning. So I was hoping there would have been a way to spin the unit back here. I think I can reach in and grab this fan. And no, it just don't want to turn. So we either got an engine issue or a generator issue. So I might have to pull the front fan cover off or stick something in this hole. Okay, yeah, it's got a hole for a ratchet to plug in there, and see if we can spin it over a couple times. It spun run round when I started, and now it just don't want to spin at all. So maybe something's on top of the piston, or hopefully not. Maybe it's just some rust in there from sitting, condensation or something. So we'll get something and see if I can get that to turn. Stick it in this hole and try to roll this engine over, because she just done got stuck. Dang, I knew this thing turned a while ago. I wonder what happened. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this fan shroud off. It's just got 4 3/8 bolts. Alright, we got the fan cover off right here. You can see it. Just direct air out the bottom. Got that thing off. Now I can grab this fan and try to rock the engine back. Okay, there we go. Turn it backwards. Oh, it's hitting hard. Okay, I got it past it. Rough spot right there. Feels like it's like right at the top of the cylinder, so we'll put it right there and hook our cable back up. And hopefully the stop still works on this thing. We'll hook our cable back up and see if she'll crank. Okay, so we're still not getting any spark, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull the cover off the points and check those. Alright, I got the cover off right here, a little rectangle cover, and under here we got our points, and they are okay. Right here's the points. They open and close right there. You can see them opening and closing, and they are freaking bad corroded. I'm gonna try to file them or something and see if I can get some of that rust off. But basically, as the motor spins, yeah, see that's open, that's closed. So I'll get some sandpaper and clean up those contacts, and then we'll check for spark again. And I'll turn it on and see if we're getting power at the coil with the multimeter. Okay, well, I got the key switched on and the battery connected. You can see the light.
You can see a light.
That means that the coil is getting power. I went ahead and took a little piece of sandpaper and run between the points and got them cleaned up. Okay, so the points is working, so now let's check if we got any spark. So I'll spin her over. still not seeing any spark. So, okay, I've sanded the points again and made sure they're making good connection, and I've disconnected the low oil pressure ground wire from the coil so it won't be grounding it. And this time let's see if we get any spark. So we should get some spark. Okay, I seen some spark. So I'm gonna screw the spark plug back in and then we'll see if it'll hit. Okay, I wanna make sure I ain't gonna fry nothing here. So I'm gonna turn this breaker off that's going to all that extension cords and plug-ins that are over there. So we'll spin it over and see if she'll fire up. Hopefully it will. Oh, I heard a hit. Yeah, that thing runs pretty good. Now it is missing on that back cylinder over there, so I'm gonna pull the plug out and try to clean it and start it back up. Okay, as you've seen, it runs pretty good, but it's missing on one cylinder, and I've determined that it is a, pretty sure it's a sticking intake valve, so it's losing compression. So whatever, I went and put the fan shroud back on because the motor got pretty hot right there while it was running with no airflow. So I got that put back on. This is a 2-cylinder flathead engine, so it's got a flathead on both sides. And whatever, if you know what that means, the valves are not over the pistons, they're down beside the cylinder. So whatever, back here I went and put the cover back on the generator unit so stuff wasn't flying out of there. And I'm gonna crank it back up and I'm gonna try just to pour a little transmission fluid down the carburetor while it's running and see if that'll get on the valve stems and get them freed up on this other cylinder, and maybe oil up the rings and cylinders, everything from setting. So a lot of people do that to diesel engines, so I'm just gonna try a little bit of it on this gas engine and maybe it'll free everything up. All right, let's see if it'll run again. That's still not working. I don't know really what the deal is with that. But yeah, as y'all seen, when I poured that transmission fluid in there, it went to running good. So like that other valve got unstuck, so that is great that both cylinders are working. I just wanted to try another start up, see how good it cranked now. Now the thing would be a lot quieter, but the muffler's sitting over here in the trailer because they take it off when they move it. So I didn't feel like putting it back on because they're gonna have to come get it anyway. I tried to stick it on there and it was like too hard to do, so I was like, I'll just leave it off so they can put it on when they get it where they want to use it at. But alright. But that's probably all I'm gonna do to it till it gets a solenoid for it. So hope y'all like the little old school generator. Like I said, that's a great model for a backup standby full-time unit. They're going to use it for a full-time unit anytime they're at deer camp to run the whole deer camp, air conditioners and everything. Like I said, it doesn't use very much fuel and the thing will run forever. Like you could crank it up this week and turn it off 2 months later and it'd still be just fine. You know, now, you know, check your oil and stuff on it, but like I said, they're great motors. It's basically, if y'all have known of Cummins and Onan are together now, so they make what they call Cummins Onan generators. But like I said, they build a lot, and it's like one of the top brands today if you get a generator. But everybody, like and subscribe, and I'll try to keep the videos coming. And I'm glad y'all got to see this one get it running today.